Welcome back to the Mulberry Book Drop. Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm excited to be back.
Me too. I feel like it's been a minute.
It has.
Yeah.
Do you want to start with a couple city announcements?
Absolutely.
What do you got?
We have some exciting news from Snackatory. Snackatory, which, if you forgot, is the snack shop that's attached to the library. You should definitely go check them out. Their snacks are so good. But they actually added games. So they added like a dartboard on the wall. And then they got one of those cool, I want it in my house, to be honest. It's one of those like big, not a game board, but one of those big games that's like air hockey, pool, and foosball, like all rolled into one.
I love foosball.
And I think it's just the coolest thing. So I have, of course, the library staff had to test it out just to make sure it was okay for, our fellow patrons. And it is fantastic. So it is honestly such a great hangout spot. I absolutely love it. And then we also are actually teaming up with Snackatory for a raffle. So for the next several months, we'll be doing a raffle each month. But for the month of April, for every program that you attend through the library, your name gets put into a drawing. And at the end of the month, we will draw. And whoever wins will get a free fruit tea. So,
Yay.
Sounds cool, right?
It does, yeah.
And the fruit teas are delicious, if I do say so. So what about you? Any news?
I was just going to mention Studio 37 real quick.
Aww.
Yeah. So the new building is the old bank over on North Church Road. So it's 400 North Church Road. They have so many things going on over there already. And I did go to the yoga classes. I'm going to be, those are every other Saturday. So it's the second and fourth Saturday. So that's been a lot of fun. But they've also had like a really good group for their first Zumba. They did like a weight training thing. They also had, did you see their little thing about like the come make your own cards?
I did.
Like the pop-up cards.
Yes. I was like, oh, so fun.
Yeah. So I would highly suggest that you follow the City of Mulberry social media if you're curious about what's going on at Studio 37, because it's looking to be a really good time over there.
Agreed.
Yes. Sarah, tell me something good.
I have something good that pertains to the whole library crew.
Okay.
I at the time that this is released, it'll be a couple weeks ago. You will have noticed that we were closed on a random Friday, and the whole staff went over to Bartow for a Polk County Library cooperative training. So it was a ton of fun. It was great.
I bet that it was. I can't wait.
I know. I was like, it hasn't, we haven't actually gone yet. But I am excited because I am presenting. I'm part of a panel. So I get to talk about marketing and library advocacy. So I'm really pumped. And of course, talking about the podcast as well. So I'm really excited about that.
You're going to do an amazing job.
Thanks. I'm really good. I mean, I'm really excited.
You see the future.
I do. Wow. I did not mean that I'm really good. Anyway, I was going to say, what about you? Do you have anything good?
That's so funny. So we had our oldest back for spring break. And so we had an awesome time while he was here. So Grandma came to stay for a couple of days as well. And so the one night I took everybody to the Missing Piece Theater to see play on. And that was so much fun. So the Missing Piece Theater Company is just a small company that uses the Mulberry's Gem Theater. And they just put on such a great show. We laughed through the entire thing.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Start to finish, my abs hurt. I mean, that's how funny it was.
Yeah.
And then we did also go to the zoo, which I just have to say, if you happen to be a Zoo Tampa member, or if you're just interested in going to the zoo and you were like, maybe not, I don't know. The baby Komodo dragons are out. Go see them. They're the cutest thing.
Oh, cool.
And they're fast.
Yeah.
Like zip, zip, zip. I couldn't believe how fast they go. Because usually when you see the grown Komodo dragons, they just lounging. They do nothing but lay. Like I really have never seen them do more than like turn their head from side to side. But those babies, we were trying to count how many were in the thing.
Yeah.
And they were like, up the branch, down, around the back. Wait, is that the same one? And so then we had to find like the little markings on them. Because, of course, they have to make sure everyone's being fed. So all the little zoo animals usually have some sort of a marking. Yeah, but they were quick.
Well, they must get their energy out when they're young.
Yeah, probably.
And then that way when they're older, they're just chilling.
Yeah.
They're just vibing. So.
Do you have anything funny you want to share?
I do. And this one involves a mom and one of our Storytime patrons that comes into the library all the time.
Okay.
I absolutely adore him because every time he comes into the library, he's like, "Hi, Miss Sarah." And he's like so excited to get books and just to like ask me questions. And I don't know if his mom listens to this podcast, but if she does, she knows who I'm talking about. He's absolutely amazing. There's been 2 times during story time where he's so caught up in the story, and then all of a sudden he'll go, "Can we pause? I have to go to the bathroom." And I just think it's the cutest. Anyways, that's not the funny part. The funny part is I was at Target with my best friend and her mom, and where else would I be? I was in the book section. I don't know. I just, when I ever go to a store, I always end up there.
It's like a magnet.
Yeah, and I don't buy anything, but I was like, oh, but I happened to see that mom and her son come in, or come into the book section, and I just looked at her and I called her name, and she just looked at me. She goes, "Oh my gosh, Miss Sarah." And then she goes, I don't want to say his name. And then she goes, "Look, there's Miss Sarah." And he was like, he just looked at me and like, that like out of context.
Yes.
Like, and he just looked at me. He was like, "Miss Sarah?" And then like looked around, and we were in book. So he was just like, "What are you doing here?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Whale." And so the mom was just laughing because of course I'm not in the library, but I'm still around books.
But you magically appear wherever there are books.
We sure do. It's a superpower.
My favorite is when he comes in and you're not at the desk, because he like enters the door every time saying, "Hi, Miss Sarah."
Yeah.
And then he stops and he looks at the desk and it's like, "You're not Miss Sarah and you're not Miss Sarah. Where's Miss Sarah?" And every time we're like, "She'll be out in a second."
I did. He was it last week he came in, and I for the first time with his mom and his dad.
Yeah.
And he was so excited for me to meet his dad, and his dad's just like, "You're kind of famous at our house." And I was just like, 3 stories to him, but I absolutely adore him. I'm like, oh, he's amazing. So 6 years old and already reading chapter books. Like, come on.
He's
so
cute.
yeah. What about you? Anything funny?
So I walked out into our garage the other day because I had to ask Matt something. And as I opened the door from the house into the garage, all of a sudden I stopped and was like, why am I hearing my voice? He was listening to our podcast.
Oh, so we're famous.
So,
at least in this household.
And I just like burst out laughing, and he just kind of was like, "Oh," and I was like, "That's just so weird." So I have to say he is probably the most supportive person ever. Aww. So it was really funny, but it was really sweet too. So yeah.
But someone was sitting on the computer yesterday, and I was standing at the front desk, and all of a sudden I heard this music come out of their phone, and I was like, "That's our podcast theme song." I was like, "Hello?"
We do have a few people who like come in and download it in the library. Yes. And then they listen at home.
And that's what happened. But part of me is like, when do we start signing autographs? No, I'm just kidding.
Funny.
I'm just kidding. But I was like, oh, this is just so cool.
Well, and it reminded me of, did you ever have an answering machine? You had a cell phone like way before I ever did.
And I mean, we had like a house phone with an answering machine. Okay. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. So like, did you ever used to have that moment where you would hear your voice on the answering machine and you'd be like, "That's not what I sound like"?
No.
Okay. That was kind of the moment I had when I walked into the garage, and I was like, "Who is that?" And then it's like, "Oh, that's you." And I was like,
"That's funny.
Are you sure?"
Yeah.
Is it?
One of our coworkers this morning was like, she was like, "When you're recording, what do you sound like?" And I'm like, what do you mean? What do I sound like? And I said, "I think I sound like me, maybe a little bit spunkier. But for the most part, like, we just talk in our normal voices."
Yeah.
So
it's I don't do anything different.
Yeah, but like, when you pick up the phone and you're like, "Mulberry Public Library, this is Sarah. How may I help you?"
My customer service voice.
The customer service voice.
She?
I was like, yeah, no, it's not the customer service voice. This is our regular voices. So, random. I know.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, okay, Sarah.
Yes.
Why are we here today?
Why are we here today?
We're revisiting the story graph. Yes, I'm excited. So if you guys haven't yet listened I think it was episode 10, I believe it was our February episode, we talked about reading trackers, and the story graph is the one that Sarah and I decided we were going to play with this year. Mm-hmm. And that's the one that like graphs your reading and stuff for you. And I have to admit, it has grown on me. What about you?
I love it.
You love it?
Yes. I know when we talked about it on the episode, we had talked about trying to transfer everything from Goodreads over.
Yes, I think we're still on the fence about a couple things.
Yes, and we were finally able to do that. And like once that happened, I was like, oh, I love it.
Yes.
So I think it's amazing.
Yeah, no joke, you guys. After we recorded that podcast, I think it was the same day. Like, we went back to the library.
Yeah.
We did the other things on our to-do list that had to be done, like that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like quiet for a minute. And all of a sudden, Sarah's like, I mean, I wonder if it'll work. And all of a sudden, like, she logs into everything. And you had that, what was it, like a Excel spread, like sheet that I mean,
Yeah,
it was
I was like, what did I
amazing
just do?
how it worked. We were both just like, this is so crazy. And then our graphs just like
appeared,
changed,
mm-hmm.
and it was so. And now we can look back at all of these years, and
yeah,
it's like, really cool.
Technology, whoa.
So we decided to check our graphs real quick for this year before recording. So Sarah, did you see what your average rating is?
I did, and it's lower than I expected.
Really? What's your number?
3.89.
Oh, mine's lower.
Oh, is it?
I guess I'm tougher.
Yeah.
Mine's a 3.54.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but we're like kind of
around the same.
Yeah.
But again, I still feel like a 3 or higher is a solid review, because
Agreed.
a 3, if I was in a different mood, maybe it would have been a 4.
Yeah.
You know, so like a 3 for me is I can see a ton of people loving this book,
mm-hmm.
and I can also see people saying this book was not for me.
Yeah.
I think it's solid.
I have a friend on Goodreads who I like how on her like Goodreads bio she puts what her stars mean.
Oh,
and
okay.
I think 3 stars, like that's the one that hit it on the nail for me, is I enjoyed this book, but I probably won't revisit this book.
Yeah.
So like I enjoyed it enough to not hate it.
That's smart.
You know?
Think about that.
I know. I was like, would it be weird if I copied her?
Yeah. No, that's
So,
good. That's
yeah.
good. What is your most read genre?
Thriller.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But I have read 6 books of one author, and she's strictly a thriller author.
Oh, okay. Well,
So-
hang on, because I was also thinking about asking you that, because I
Okay.
did check what mine is too.
Okay, what's yours?
So anyway, my most read genre though is literary,
Oh.
which I was a little surprised by, because I feel like I read all over the place.
Yes.
But a lot of my books fall into a literary category. So even if
okay.
it's still maybe contemporary romance, it's also literary.
Okay.
Or, yeah.
Okay.
So what's your most read mood?
Mysterious. What about you?
I feel like I don't even know you at all.
I know. I will preface this with saying I burned myself out because I was reading so many contemporary romance.
Yeah.
I think I burned myself out a little bit, and I don't think I've read a single one this year.
And I think that was where I was expecting
Yeah.
your stuff to fall.
Nope.
Okay, well, mine is emotional.
Emotion. Who are you?
I don't know. Okay, what is your most read format?
So I will say that the format part, wow. I'm sorry, I got so country. The format part. I didn't realize on Storygraph that you could put what format you were reading in. Like, I think I just always clicked on the first book that popped up.
Mm-hmm.
So you can choose if you're listening to it as an audio, or if you're listening, or if you're reading it physically. And I had not been doing that. So I actually have listened to more audiobooks this year than I physically read.
Okay.
Honestly, because I can pop like an audiobook out in like 2 days with the way that I read them kind of sped up.
Mm-hmm.
So my format, I would say, is more audiobooks so far this year.
Okay.
So
mine have been print book, but
makes
I've also
sense.
been trying to do a little bit more on the Kindle.
Okay.
So like my Kindle, my ebook number is starting to go up a little bit, but
Okay.
still print books is my jam.
I haven't finished a single. That's a lie. I've read 1 Kindle book this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I need to get back into my Kindle.
So why don't you go ahead and tell everybody who your most read author for the year is then? Because Storygraph also tells you
It does.
like how many books you've read by certain authors.
So I read 6 books by Frida McFadden.
That's so great. 6 books.
I know, 6 books. And then my next one was 2 books by Rebecca Yarros. I think I said her name right.
Okay.
So, and that's Fourth Wing and Iron Flame.
Yeah.
But yeah, Frida McFadden, who I will say, I am trying to read all of her books. So just because they're really good in between books,
Yeah.
for like either more serious books, or if I just need like just an easy one, and like she does throw like plot twists in there.
Yeah.
I will say that a lot of times I do figure them out, but there have been 2 books where I have not, and I've been shocked and surprised.
That's
So,
fun.
but she is a solid 3 or 4 for me for stars wise.
The way you're reading her reminds me of when I finally broke down to what my friend was like, you've got to try this author. You got to, how I was with Simone St. James.
Oh, yeah.
And I like blew through all her books that one year. And now I'm like, ugh, I got to wait for her new one to come out.
I know. Well, when I went back and counted how many books she has, and she has like Frida McFadden. She has, I think like 15 or 16 books. And I'm like, okay, I might not read them all because I might get a little burnt out. And so my next audio will be Riley Sager. Okay. So I'm like,
well, you got to save a couple for later because you might need them in between to like cleanse the brain and just.
And I want to, I have a couple, contemporary romance that will be coming in for me too.
There you go.
So, just gotta keep it interesting. But I will say that my moods and my, genres for this year are all over the place.
It's so funny.
Like my next one is historical. And I think that one was like 4 books or 5 books.
Okay.
So far this year. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine was Jemisen Stanley, I think is how you pronounce. I'm trying to remember her name now, but they were books about yoga.
Okay.
Because I've been trying to be better about doing it more regularly.
Okay.
Like because we've been doing the weights workouts and all that kind of stuff too, and so I'm trying to be better about stretching and how you actually do the poses and some of that kind of stuff. And so she actually had 2 yoga books that I read that I really liked.
Very cool.
So she was my most read author so far this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's not as high of a number as Sarah's. Oh, goodness.
Okay, but then how many books have you read this year? We're okay. Like, you're right.
It's not a competition.
It's not. Honestly, I don't even know my number right now. So
no, I didn't look at that. Okay, so we're actually here to talk about a very specific feature on Storygraph, though, and that is the buddy read feature. Spoiler, it's amazing.
It's so amazing.
So amazing.
Yeah.
Sarah, do you want to kind of tell everybody just briefly like what a buddy read is?
Yeah, so a buddy read is with you and a friend or a group of friends. You all have to be friends on Storygraph already, but you get to start a book, and the feature of the buddy read is that you're reading it together. I'm sorry, I'm not explaining this well. It's fine. But you read at your own pace, and then you mark where you are in the book, and then if somebody's already commented that far in the book, their comment will show up. You can comment back to them, and then when they go back on, they can read it. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense.
It does to me because I've done it. But yeah, so like Sarah was saying, you basically, whoever starts the buddy read, you invite your friends, and then they accept the buddy read, right? So that's your first couple steps. Then when you're actually reading the book, as long as you remember to update your page number, anything that other people have read, if they're ahead of you, their comments are locked. And so you can't see them until you get to that page number, which is the most amazing thing because most of us readers, we know what's the absolute worst thing when you're in the middle of a book. Spoilers. Nobody wants spoilers.
Right.
Like we want to get to it and have our own thoughts, our own feelings. But I also really like that you can comment back and forth to each other. So once that comment's unlocked, you can create a new comment or you can reply to somebody's comment.
Yeah.
So there's like options for that too, which I think is pretty awesome.
Yes.
So the book that we selected, because we agreed that the best way to learn about the buddy feature is obviously to test it.
For sure.
So we were looking for a book, and when I was helping with some of the new stuff a couple months ago, I saw this book called Mother-Daughter Murder Night, and it's by Nina Simon. And so I read, I'm going to just quote this for you guys, a lighthearted whodunit about a grandmother, mother, daughter trio of amateur sleuths, Gilmore Girls, but with murder. Which, of course, I immediately was like, oh my goodness, this might be our book. And so I ran it out to show Sarah. Did I have to twist your arm much with this one? Or did you see the Gilmore Girls and murder and you were like, sold?
Right. And I don't know if that day, if I was wearing my Gilmore Girls sweatshirt.
You might have been.
Because I do. I have like 2, and I have 3 of them. I have 3 Gilmore Girls sweatshirts. That's excessive, but it's fine. And I was like, oh my gosh, because like, Bethany and I both love like murder mysteries and Gilmore Girls. So it's like you're putting those 2 together. It's like the best of both worlds, you know?
Sarah even had my name for Christmas one year, and she got me a Gilmore Girls blanket. So I totally had it on the other night. I was like, my feet are cold. So this is the book we decided to try, and it's currently on Goodreads. It's rated at a 3.6, and that's kind of, I think, about where you and I both fell with it by the time we
Yeah.
were done. And it was a fun book. So you got three generations of strong-willed women. And there are a lot of comparisons to the Gilmore Girls, and I don't necessarily know if I would go that far,
Yeah.
but I still found them to be like a very likable bunch. Like,
Yes.
I was kind of rooting for all three women. I was hoping that they were going to figure out their relationship because they were
Yes.
all coming into the story from like very different places.
Very.
Yeah, and I just really was hoping, like, are they going to come together? And like, I almost cared more about their relationship than I did about the murder.
Same. Agreed.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay. But I have to say, like, I really thought that it was a fun one for us to use for testing the buddy read. Like, it was entertaining to write back and forth to see if we kind of solved the mystery beforehand. Like, even it was kind of fun because there were a couple moments, like, if you look, I don't want to spoil anything, so that's why I'm not getting like super specific. But if you look back at our buddy read, there are moments where it's almost like, oh, this kind of feels like maybe it's a red herring, but it's sort of fun. I feel like they're trying to point us toward this person. And so like we were having those conversations too.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. What I really knew is that, wow, I want to be like the grandmother when I'm older, because she was a firecracker.
She was.
She was here to get things done. So, and I like that. And then like the daughter was, for me, she was way too level-headed. I was like, oh, why are you so level-headed? Why are you making good decisions? You know?
Yeah.
And the granddaughter, I think she was someone that like had to grow up fast, but like did so with taste and just loves being out on the water and just wanted to be out on the water.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, and it's like she was the youngest one of the bunch, but she was also like a lot of times felt like the adult in the room.
Yes. Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed for sure.
And I really, by the time I was kind of done with it, I thought, like, would I read this author again? Yes, because I did realize that this is a debut novel, which you guys know I've kind of been obsessed. I've actually read 6 debut novels already this year.
Wow.
Which I did look that number up because, thank you, Storygraph, for graphing my tags. Oh. I have a tag for debut novel.
Okay.
And I have a tag for buddy read now.
Oh, cool.
So that I can, like, see how many I do this year.
Makes sense.
So yeah, it was kind of a low stress mystery, but they were folks that I really liked. And I think it's really nice because sometimes we don't want like that thriller gore.
Right.
But it was still a little bit more than a cozy mystery.
Yes.
So like there was definitely a little more darkness, not sure who to trust, without it being all the way into I'm a thriller and I'm here for the crazy stuff.
Right. Right.
So yeah. I would definitely say it was a fun book. I think overall I really enjoyed the read, and I definitely enjoyed writing to you about it and like talking to you.
That was so much fun.
Yeah. So I also did another one with a friend, which Sarah got a little upset.
You have other friends? The audacity.
I'm sorry. So this one, I found it by accident, and it's actually one of it's one of Matt's favorite authors, and he really loves this author, but it's so far outside of my comfort zone that I was just like, I don't know if I can read one of her books. And then I realized this is a book of short stories.
Okay.
And so I thought, well, maybe I can do short stories. So the author is N.K. Jemisen. And this book of short stories is very like a little sci-fi, but very fantasy. There's some with dragons, and you guys know I struggle with world building. It's currently rated 4.28 stars on Goodreads.
Wow.
Yeah, very highly rated. So anyway, one of my friends who introduced us to Storygraph, she also wanted to do a buddy read. And so I had asked her about this book. And I'll tell you, this feature was amazing for it because the way we did it, because we were reading different versions of the book. So I had a print book, and then she was reading the Kindle version.
Oh, okay.
So instead of putting page numbers, we had agreed that whenever we posted a comment, that we would just put the title of whatever the short story was. And so that was kind of how we were tracking to make sure that we didn't accidentally read ahead, if our page numbers didn't match up. And that worked out so well. And we just had the best conversations about each of these short stories. And it kept me from rushing. I'll be
Okay.
honest. It kept me from like glossing over and being like, meh,
Hmm.
it really helped me understand some of the stories because, like I said, they were outside of my comfort zone. So I thought that was really cool. And sometimes when you're reading stuff like that, you're also like, what was the author thinking when they wrote this? Like, is this like a little bit of a political story? Is this like a comment on history? Like, what's happening here? And because the book is called How Long Till Black Future Month. And so some of the ideas, like as we were reading them, I wrote her and I was like, this kind of feels like it's relating to like the civil rights movement. And
Mm.
so, when she wrote back, she was like, oh my gosh, that's what I read too. And here's what I was
Okay.
thinking. And so like some of our conversations got like really deep. But it was fun and it really made me realize like, okay, I'm not crazy. Like I am seeing what other people are seeing too as I'm reading this.
Yeah. Oh,
And
that's cool.
yeah, like some of the stories were so amazing. And I think it helped me
Yeah.
again because of the genre.
Okay. Yeah.
So it was a very positive experience. And I really did ultimately, I loved the book, which surprised me because I wasn't expecting that. So,
Very cool.
and now Matt's reading it. So each time he finishes a
Yeah.
short story, I can pull the buddy read back up. And then I can kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, I remember which story it is now. And this is kind of what we were talking about.
Very cool.
So that's kind of neat too. So, Sarah, would you do a buddy read again?
Yes, we did.
We did.
We did another buddy read. We did Water for Elephants by Sarah.
Gruen.
Thank you. I was like, I don't know. I almost said green. That's not green. So yeah, no. And I will say, Water for Elephants has been one of my favorite books this year.
It was so good.
So good. Neither one of us expected it to be that good.
No.
And we both finished it basically in 2 days.
Yes.
So, you know,
And
yeah.
so I looked this one up too, real quick before we recorded, and this book is older. Like it's been around for a while.
Yeah, it was like 2005, right?
The movie came out a long time ago. Like
Yeah.
so you almost feel like this book probably already had its moment.
Mhm.
People have moved on. It's still rated 4.11
Wow.
on Goodreads. That's a high rating for Goodreads.
Well, I was a 5. I'll be
Yeah.
honest.
I was like, oh my goodness. But yeah, I love this book. And Sarah started it before me. And all I remember is you read like the prologue or whatever it
Oh.
was, and she gasped.
I did.
I mean, well, I won't do it. It'll sound terrible on the microphone. But I like flipped around and looked at her, and you like shut your book, and you were like, that is the best prologue I've ever read in my life.
And I still stand by that. Yeah.
And then I was like, I still have to finish this stuff. I was like, now you're going to be ahead of me. And she was. You were like 5 pages ahead of me the whole time. And like, no matter
Devoured it.
how hard I tried, I couldn't catch up to you.
I literally devoured that book, and I did not expect to love it that much. I wasn't dreading reading it, but I was like, I think this might be a little boring. Oh, it was far from boring.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was really, really good. I would say like content wise, just be warned, it is about a traveling circus. So obviously animals and, some people are not the nicest people in the world.
Right.
But I still think it was so incredibly well written. It does take place in the 1930s. So I think historically it was true to what was most likely happening at that time.
Yeah.
My understanding from looking stuff up is that the author did do a lot of research to try and make sure that it was, pretty accurate. Like it's still fiction, but let's try to keep it as accurate as we can.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a spoiler.
Mm-hmm.
The elephant's the best character in the book.
Oh, for
like,
sure.
Hands down.
For sure.
Rosie.
Yeah.
My
Agreed.
love.
And I equally loved her in the movie.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah. It was so good.
So good. Oh, wow. I could talk about that book for hours.
I know.
So.
We won't do that.
No.
But anywho. So would you recommend the buddy read feature to other people?
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure we'll do it again probably soon.
Probably.
So we have some of our favorite authors are coming out with some newer books.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know we're like right behind each other on the hold list. So those might have to be buddy reads.
That's true. Yeah, we could do another one.
Mm-hmm.
That would be fun. I'm trying to get some of my friends up north to join Storygraph so that we can do it because I still have a book club with some of my northern friends and, life gets hard. Like people have kids, they have jobs, they're, moving, they like things are always going on. And so it's hard sometimes to be like, hey, what's a night that everybody can Zoom? And sometimes we can't even pick the same book once in a while to all get our hands on because we're in such different places. So sometimes we kind of get together and just talk about like, what have we been reading lately? What did you like? Have you found a new author? So almost like Titles with Tea.
Yeah.
We kind of do like that sort of
Cool.
meetup. But I feel like this would be a really great solution for like those in between times for us. Like,
Yeah.
you know, don't get rid of our video chat because like I would so miss seeing their faces. But I think this might be like a really good solution for those in between. Life is a little chaotic for the next couple months.
Yeah.
Time.
That'd be cool.
So yeah, I'm gonna see if I can talk them into it because I have a couple book thoughts too that maybe we could start with. So
Okay.
yeah, I'll see. Do you think that the buddy read feature upped your star rating or your enjoyment of the books?
Yes. I would say that it did because there was someone that I was enjoying it with.
Yeah.
So, and I think like seeing your thoughts, seeing my thoughts, and like seeing if we were on the same page or no. Oh, I thought differently about that. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then like seeing a different perspective on it. I think it really did it. I think it upped the enjoyment of it for sure.
Yeah.
So
I think it kept me from rushing too because I would stop after like, you know, not every single chapter, but sometimes every like few chapters I would kind of collect my thoughts and like put those down. And I think that helped me really process the book. And I kept thinking about all of the kids that come into the library and how they still have to take all those reading comprehension tests.
Yep.
And I think sometimes as an adult, because there's always so much chaos going around us all the time, that we read and we just kind of gloss over it. And once you close the book, it's just like gone.
Yeah.
And I think stopping to like put down my thoughts, it's making it stay longer.
Agreed. I definitely agree with that. Because even the like the murder night one, when we were talking about it, like as we were talking about it, because we did read that one a little bit ago, but it's like I was thinking about what we had put on the buddy read, and I was like, oh my gosh, like it came back to me like I just finished it.
Right.
And like normally books don't do that for me.
Yep.
So, and Water for Elephants, I kind of did just finish that one.
Yeah, that one was more recent.
So, yeah.
So I did say briefly the thing about like going back to your buddy read. So if you do use Storygraph at any point, and you do a buddy read with somebody and you're like, I don't know how to get back to it. The easiest way I found so far, I don't know if there's a better option, and this is strictly on the website. I'm not 100% sure where it might be on the app right now. I still have to look at that. But if you're logged in on your computer, there are like the tabs kind of across the top where it's, you know, your stats, your reading journal or what, you know, but there's one that says community. And if you click on the community one, it's where you can kind of see your friends list. And if you scroll down just a tiny bit underneath that, there is a box that says buddy reads.
Oh, okay.
And if you click on it, all of your buddy reads should show up for you.
Oh, very cool.
And then you can go back and, you know, look at them again and stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That is cool.
So yeah, overall, buddy reads, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Oh,
I
yeah.
don't think it's even a question.
No.
Well done
So
to the
amazing.
Storygraph.
Yes. That's like one of the best features I've ever seen.
And it's a feature that everybody gets. You don't have to pay for like the pro service.
Right.
Because there is an option, like you can upgrade to whatever they call it. I think it might be like Pro Plus or something like that. It's not. It's a feature that everybody can have.
And it's so cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
Sarah, this was fun.
I love this.
Do you have any other thoughts that you would like to share before we finish up our episode today?
I do.
What do you got?
So next month is May. I had to think about it. So I was like, what month are we in? Is May. And we have some really exciting news. Season 4 starts in May. And we are pumped, excited. I can't believe we started this in 2021.
I mean, 4 years ago. Like
So,
that's
yeah.
and they're
Crazy.
still letting us do it.
Absolutely. That's bananas.
It is really insane to think that this all kind of started when we were closed.
Yeah.
And we were just like, what else can we do? Like, what do you want to do? What would be your dream? I mean,
And like long shot podcast.
yeah. And we were literally, it was one of those like, okay, I want everyone to brainstorm. There are no silly ideas. Like, just put anything you want out there.
Yeah.
And so we all were just like, if I could pick one new thing to do, this is what I would do. And like, they okayed it.
Yeah. And we get to do it.
It's so crazy.
So much fun. But so with that, to celebrate we are going to check out, and we're going to talk about the Lakeland Book Crawl,
I'm so excited.
which by the time that episode were to air, the book crawl will be over. So we're telling you now to the week of April, like 22nd, that whole week, just miss work. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that because we're not missing work for it. But plan. There are different coffee shops. We might even be able to post on our social media about it. And maybe we'll get to see some of you guys out there when we go. We're going like 2 days, I think.
Yes.
Our boss is letting us go to a couple different places. But we encourage you to take part in it. It's going to be so much fun. So it'll be happening between this episode and the May episode. But that's how we're going to celebrate season 4, starting of it. But if you do want more information, you can actually check out the City of Lakeland for more details about participating businesses. So
they have been posting a lot on their social media already. The book crawl is a pretty big deal for the City of Lakeland.
Yeah.
I'm excited to learn a little more about it because I do want to find out. Hopefully we'll have some stats for you guys, like, how many years has this been going on? But it really is. It's such a great way to support some of these like small local businesses and, obviously the book business. And,
right.
Well, Sarah and I both love coffee.
Yeah.
So we're really excited that we were approved to do like a little mini field trip so that we can also support the Lakeland Book Crawl. So
yes. So, and, local bookshops and coffee shops and books and coffee.
It's going to be awesome.
Come on.
I can't wait.
Yeah, but as always, you can send us anything that you might wish to share if you're able to get over there.
Yes, please. Sarah, my last question for you obviously is, what are you reading now?
What am I reading now? Oh my goodness. Okay, I am reading Silent Came the Monster, a novel of the 1916 Jersey Shore shark attacks by Amy Hill Hearth. I think I'm saying that right.
Contemporary romance?
Yeah, oh, for sure. No, it's so in 7th grade, I was telling this to one of our coworkers yesterday. In 7th grade, my science teacher, we did like a whole study like on sharks, and we focused a lot on like the 1916 Jersey Shore attacks. Okay. So, and I was fascinated by it. Like there are things like those kind of things I found so fascinating. And I'm a Shark Week girl, but I'm a Shark Week girl on sci-fi. The
I was
Sci-Fi
going to
Channel.
say, I feel like I do remember you are a huge advocate for the book, The Meg.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You just love.
Yes.
It's so funny. It's like your little secret wheelhouse.
I know, right? So it's so far, I think I'm about 100 pages in. Spoiler alert, a couple people have died. And I can feel the doctor's frustration of no one believing him and everyone being like, it's not going to happen here. And you're like, but it is. So I'm really enjoying it so far. And it's also for the 2024 reading challenge for adults.
Oh, cool.
So,
okay, you're going to use it for your decade.
I sure am. Okay. I sure am.
Awesome.
So what are you reading?
I am reading a book called Maybe Next Time by Cesca Major. And it's sort of like a Groundhog's Day idea, like a what if.
Okay.
So the narrator, it's like, she gets up and lives this whole day and then all of a sudden like goes to bed and wakes up the next day and it's the same day. And so the whole book, it revolves around like a marriage and a family of 4. So like marriage, parenthood, all that kind of stuff, but also like a stressed out mom who has a really chaotic job as well. And so it's almost like learning how to slow down. What if you had another chance to make a different decision? What if you had another chance to love your partner? They deserve more. Like, what if you had a chance to parent your child differently to help keep them safe? Like, what would you do? How would you do it? And I'm really enjoying it. I've already saved like a couple quotes from it, and I'm really curious how it's going to end. I do kind of secretly love that like what if trope, and I think I'm enjoying this one more because it's not like a time travel idea where it's like they keep meeting the same person but like different years.
Yeah.
This is literally just the same family the same day, so it's like you kind of know exactly which email or text message is coming in, and so you expect it, but then her reaction to it, that's what's different each time because it's like, I know what's happening, how can I choose better?
Okay.
Yeah. And it's
interesting.
I don't know. I'm curious to see where it goes. I did look it up. It's a 3.72 on Goodreads, so it's pretty highly rated, honestly.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we shall see.
Yeah.
But I guess that's all. Sarah, where can they reach us?
Yeah, if you want to talk to us, let us know your thoughts. If you want to add us on Storygraph, if you want to do a buddy read with us, I wouldn't be mad. But you can email us at themulberrylibrary@gmail.com and share with us what you think.
You crushed it.
Thanks.
You're welcome. You're going to crush your speech tomorrow, too.
Thanks.
Happy reading, Mulberry.